welcome to this beginner's yoga class for pregnancy. So this particular class is suitable for all trimesters. However, if you've never done yoga before, I recommend you waiting until after that first trimester. You don't want to add anything new into your life during that first trimester. Your body is so busy making that beautiful little baby, it doesn't need any extra stress or pressure. So if you're brand new to yoga, hold off until the second trimester. In the meantime, you can check out some of my classes specifically for first trimester yoga, and you can also download my free pregnancy yoga guide that will help you get started knowing what you can and can't do in a yoga class during your pregnancy. I'll link all of those below for you. So I've made a video before about the basic things you need to know about practicing pregnancy yoga. So if you haven't downloaded that guide and you want to quickly jump over and watch that video first, otherwise know that everything that we do in this class is going to be safe for your pregnant body, so you don't need to worry about that. Just keep in mind, yoga is about turning inward and tuning in with your own body. And the reason why it's so perfect for pregnancy is that's really the skill you need to develop during your pregnancy and as you head in towards motherhood, is starting to trust your own instincts. So if something doesn't feel good during this class, please back right off and stop entirely. You can rejoin us when you feel good again. Reach out and ask me a question if you need in the comments, if anything doesn't feel good and you want an alternative or just want some clarification about why it doesn't feel good. Or you could talk to your doctor or midwife. They also may be able to help you there. All right, let's get into today's class. All right, before we get started in today's class, you'll notice that I've got my bolster here to practice with. I really recommend using a bolster during a pregnancy practice. It's so handy, you can use it in so many poses to really support your body. If you don't have a bolster, your pregnancy pillow, so if you're sleeping snuggled up to a pillow of a nighttime, those really long ones, they will also work. Or just grab yourself a couple of pillows off your bed or cushions off your couch, that will work as well. All right, we're gonna start in our tabletop. So bring those hands underneath the shoulders, the knees under the hips. And I just want you to feel into your body here. So notice where there's a little bit of contraction of the belly. So you're sort of really gently hugging that belly in towards the spine. And just take a little rock from side to side. So remember, during any sort of pregnancy exercise or yoga class, you don't want to overheat the body. So you want to be mindful as you practice this class that you don't overheat in any way, or if you're feeling a little bit dizzy, coming back down to the floor to rest. As you inhale, I want you to breathe in, lift the tail, lift the head, let the belly sink. So let the belly be really soft. And then as you exhale, round through the spine, looking back towards the thighs. Inhale, let the belly sink. Lift the tail, lift the head. Exhale, round through the spine, look back towards the thighs. One more, inhale. And exhale. And then take those knees as wide as the edges of the mat. Take a seat back. So this is where if you had that bolster and you wanted to, you can come underneath the chest just to make lots of space here for your belly. Of course, you don't need it. You can still practice without it. But if you want it there and you want to be extra comfortable, resting on down. So at any stage during your yoga practice or any other class, if you're ever feeling dizzy, this is a great pose to come to. It's really grounding. It gives you a chance to rest. We're just gently opening through the hips, and the upper body can really just sink into the floor. So come in here at any stage, throughout any of my classes, whenever you need to rest. Maybe taking a moment here just to connect in with your growing baby, whether that be physically feeling them moving within you, or perhaps just that inner knowing that you have, that connection with them. Maybe sending them some love with the breath this morning. And then as you inhale, slowly coming up, I want you to bring that left foot forward and come into a kneeling lunge. So if you're having any hip issues, I recommend watching one of my other videos, I'll link that one above, about keeping alignment of the hips during pregnancy. So for me, I had quite an unstable pelvis during my pregnancies, and I really had to watch that I didn't open the hips too much. So as you come into the kneeling lunge here, if it's any sort of discomfort through the low back or through the hips, and it's not just tightness of the hips, but it's like almost feels like your hips are falling apart. Check out that other video and maybe also go and get checked by a physio first, because you really want to make sure that you're not overstretching anything during pregnancy, because your body already has that relaxin pumping through it, which is helping everything release. Unfortunately, it can sometimes help parts of you, like your pelvis, release a little bit too much, and it can become quite painful. You'll notice I've got the bolster in front of this right hip here. For me, that just stops me going too far, because I can really open up my hips, but I just want to work through this right front of my hip by leaning the weight forward into that left foot. And so having that bolster there helps me just sort of support the hips a little bit. So even for me now, I'm currently 7 months postpartum, so because I'm still breastfeeding, I've got that relaxin still moving through my body, so I'm still being quite cautious and protective of my hips at this stage. As you inhale, I want you to bring the weight back. So the weight is now in my back knee. Take a big breath in, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, fold forward, so stretching into this hamstring. So again, not going to your 100% limit, I guess, with any stretches, just maybe 60%, feeling the stretch and just gently pressing there, not trying to push and get any flexibility goals happening at this point in time. As you inhale, I want you to come up, use that front thigh, use the bolster if you need, and then roll him out the way to come up into a high lunge. So the feet are sitting on train tracks. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, you could take them a little bit wider. Again, the weight is forward in that front leg and it's starting to work. You can keep the hands on the hips or inhale them to the sky. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. And then as you inhale, I want you to open out to your warrior two. So you'll have to adjust this back foot and bring it back slightly. Reach the fingertips away. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, windmill. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, windmill to side angle. One more, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, I want you to come all the way up, pointing the toes away, reaching the hands to the sky. And then exhale, open out in the other direction. Inhale, coming up. Exhale and lower. And then reverse, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to bring the hands to that front thigh. You're going to pick up that back leg, take the feet wide again onto those train tracks. Ooh, my balance is a little off. Remember, you can come nice and wide if you need that extra space. And then inhale, hands to the sky, drop the shoulders down away from the ears. So you'll notice that in our yoga practice, there is a balance between strength and building strength in the legs and also stretching. So in a yoga class for pregnancy specifically, we want to do both. You are heading towards the main event, which is your birth and your labor, which does require strength, especially in the legs, if you want to have a nice active labor, moving around and working with those legs to help your body birth easily. So we want to build strength in the body. Heat is okay, but we just want to be mindful of it, that we're not building too much. As you exhale, I want you to come down using that front thigh. Bring that back knee down and come into that kneeling lunge again. So the hands can be on the ground. If you want to, if it's more comfortable, you could come up a little, or you could bring that bolster back in front of that hip. Just stay here. And then inhale, straighten up the front leg. Take a breath in, feel like the chest is lifting forward, and then gently fold over. So you could bring the hands down to the ground. You could soften the head and neck in. And then we're going to step that front foot back. Take the knees nice and wide and take a seat back down to that child's pose. So again, the bolster could be underneath the chest, or just leave it where it is if you're comfortable resting the forehead down. Big breath into the belly, maybe imagining all of that beautiful oxygen swirling around your baby. Taking the time to take another 2 full deep breaths here. And then slowly bringing the body up. Coming back to that tabletop, I want you to engage gently through the core. So a little bit of hugging bub in towards the spine, and then take the left leg out behind you. We're just going to stay here, pressing into the hands, pressing into that foot behind you, feeling strength through the back of the body. One more breath. And then release that left leg down, inhale the right up. So this is an example of safe core exercise. So you're getting that sort of gentle engagement through the belly, but you're not putting any stress on the core. You're not asking those muscles to do too much, which if you're worried about core separation during pregnancy, anything of the reverse action, so any crunching movements, is putting too much pressure on the belly. So there is an awareness of the core during a yoga practice for pregnancy, but we're careful not to overwork that area in any way. Gently release the leg down. I want you to tuck the toes under. We're just going to slowly work our way back. So coming into our malasana, taking the knees wide, bringing the hands to heart, then bring the hands onto the legs, or you can work with the ground if you need. We start to bring the body up, take the feet nice and wide so you've got space for the belly, and forward fold over here, letting the upper body hang. Maybe swaying it out side to side if that feels good. And then bring the hands onto the thighs, lift the chest up. We come into a low squat. So I want you to think about lifting the spine long, but staying nice and low into the legs. So this is our chair pose. And we're going to stay here and have a little bit of a focus on the breath. So this is the most important part of our yoga practice for anyone, even more important when we're pregnant, because during birth, the breath is going to be our number one tool for staying calm, for helping our body to birth calmly and to open and release, and to stay out of fear, which we know creates more pain and tension in the body. So what we're practicing here is the legs are engaged and working and they're contracting, and you're starting to feel sensations. You might even describe those sensations as pain. The uterus during labor will do exactly the same thing. It's a muscle, it's working, it's squeezing, it's working hard to bring your baby out into this world. So if you can look at that sensation, that pain of labor as the same thing as your legs are doing now, you don't need to be afraid of it. It's not excruciating, it's uncomfortable, but if we focus on the breath, breathing in and out through the nose, lengthening that exhale, softening the upper body, the shoulders, so I'm not getting into a fear state. I'm reminding myself that I can do this, it's okay, this is just my body working hard. And you'll find you can stay here for a lot longer than you expected. All right, we're almost there. Keep reminding yourself that you can do this. Keep breathing into that low belly, filling it up like a balloon, and reminding yourself to soften where you can on the exhale. All right, slowly straighten those legs, let the upper body fold down. This is where bolster can also be a really nice way to sort of lessen the stretch, give yourself a little bit of support. You could even press the hands in so that the spine is long here. Releasing through the head and neck. All right, let's move that bolster out the way. Coming all the way back down, so turning the toes out, coming back via our malasana, lifting the spine, engaging the pelvic floor here, and gently releasing. Being mindful of that area as we move through other poses now. Coming forward, left hand presses into the mat. We're going to leave the knees grounded and lift the right hand to the sky. So again, still gently working through the core, but it's quite mindful. We're not asking the body to do too much. And then slowly, right hand down, rolling in the opposite direction. Inhale the left to the sky. And return that left hand down. I'm going to get you come all the way down now over onto the back. So when you're pregnant, the way you want to get yourself down is, rather than asking the core to do this crunching action, is to use the hands to lay down onto the side and then roll yourself onto the back. So I want you to bring those feet in towards the hips, and they should be at about hip distance apart. And I want you to just relax the body so you find your natural position here. There'll be a bit of an arch underneath the low back. And I want you to just press the back into the mat. So there's a little pelvic tilt towards you. As you do this, you can lift those pelvic floor muscles in and up at the same time. So we're contracting the lower abs and also engaging the pelvic floor. You'll notice that this might feel quite good for the low back. If you notice when you're standing, you're in this arch position all the time at the moment. So just that little bit of lengthening, drawing the pelvis back towards you, will probably feel really good. Releasing it again. And then inhale, drawing it back towards you. It's a really subtle movement, but something that feels quite good. And if you're noticing at the end of the day, your low back is really getting sore, I recommend doing this. Just coming to lie down and consciously lengthening out that part of your body. All right, so releasing that part of you now as you inhale, pressing into those feet. So we take that pelvic tilt, press the back in, start lifting the hips up. One vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly, and then exhale all the way back down. So if you're in the later stages of your pregnancy, I know for me, once my belly got really big, this didn't feel so comfortable anymore. Lying on my back wasn't so great for me. So I would bring my back up onto the bolster instead, and it just felt a whole lot better. All right, let's roll now onto our left side, just coming into a gentle quad stretch. So reaching towards that top foot, drawing the knee back in line with the body. So this should feel really good for our right thigh muscle. If it feels okay, you could draw the knee down. And then gently releasing, rolling to the opposite side. So support the head in the hands. Draw that left knee back. If you're finding you're wobbling all over the place, drawing that right knee in so that it's at a right angle to the body will help with balance. And then gently releasing, coming back onto the back. It's going to finish up by working into those hips. So take the right ankle across the left thigh and just draw that left leg in towards you. So you should feel it in this right hip. If you want to add the hamstring stretch on as well, you could straighten that leg up and find hands around the calf. See if you can soften into the upper body. Reminding yourself to be quite conscious of not stretching too much, but stretching enough so that you can feel it. So you're probably carrying a little bit of extra weight at the moment. Your legs are doing more work walking around every day, just as normal. So we need to be mindful that stretching them out is something that's going to feel really good, but we don't want to go too far. Release that left leg down, change the cross of the legs, so left ankle over the right. And you can just stay here. You don't need to go for the hamstring stretch as well, but if it feels good, you could draw that leg in. Releasing the legs, stretching the body out long, making yourself as tall as you possibly can, pressing the toes away, pressing the fingers away. Oh, maybe taking a big yawn. And then getting ready for your Shavasana. So if you are very early stages of pregnancy and this is still comfortable, flat on the back, you're welcome to stay here. If you're later stages of pregnancy, the best option for you is probably with a bolster or that pregnancy pillow if that's what you're working. Lying on the side feels really nice. You could even add a pillow under the head as well. If you are more comfortable with a bit of heart opening, you could lie on down onto the bolster. This feels really nice with either the legs in butterfly or outstretched. So lots of options for your Shavasana. I personally am going to sit. So let's close the eyes on down if they're not already. And start allowing the body to soften into whichever position you're currently in. Maybe even sighing it out. So take a deep breath in. Audibly out through the mouth. 2 more times. Inhale. One more time. Inhale. Just letting everything soften. You might like to bring some awareness to the belly, maybe placing the hands over the belly, or just bringing your mind's eye here. Imagining your baby growing within you, and just taking a little moment to say hello and connect in. Perhaps noticing any feelings or sensations that you feel in the body when you think of your baby. So it might be a growing warmth in the heart, maybe a bubbling excitement in the belly. Just allowing yourself this time and space to really connect in with those emotions that you have around your baby. And it's okay if they're not necessarily all positive. You might also feel some anticipation or some anxiety. Perhaps even some frustration at your body as it grows and becomes a little unfamiliar and foreign. Allow yourself just to feel. There's no right or wrong. Allow yourself to keep breathing. Other than the breath, this ability to relax on command is one of the best things that you can practice during your pregnancy, so that during your labor you can consciously relax, soften in, rest when you need. So many amazing skills that yoga teaches us that apply directly to labor and birth. So consciously let those thoughts fade away now and let the body soften. Maybe you notice that the body's starting to feel heavy, drowsy. Allow yourself to follow those feelings, those sensations. Just staying with the breath. Staying present with your body in this fully relaxed, blissed out state. When you're ready to, start to slowly bring your awareness and your attention back. Breathe some energy into the body with a deep breath in. Maybe start wiggling fingers and toes. Slowly making your way up to have a seat when you're ready. Joining me back here. No hurry though, take your time. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this beginner's yoga practice and you're starting to feel a little more comfortable and confident in your body. So the aim of pregnancy yoga is really to help you tune in, connect with what feels good for your body, but also to connect with that intuition that helps you to feel empowered in your body, to understand your body, to be able to listen to its signs and clues. Because throughout this pregnancy, as your body changes, that's going to be so important. But also during labor and birth, it's going to be really important to be able to listen and follow the lead of your body. If you'd like to know more about yoga for birth, I have a course in my online yoga circle exactly for this. It's called Yoga Wisdom for Birth. And in that course, I'll guide you through everything you need to know about your body, how it works during labor and birth, and the tools that you can use to really support the body to have a positive birth experience. I'll link that one below if you want to check that out. I also have a 3-part birth yoga series that I'll link below here as well that I think you might like to check out. So if you enjoyed that work we did where we were in that squat and really practicing breathing through the contractions of the leg in the same way we'll do during labor, breathing through the contractions of the belly, I think you'll really enjoy that 3-part series. So go and check that one out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your pregnancy. If you enjoyed this class, I would love if you would share a picture, tag me on your social media. I love seeing where you practice and also seeing those beautiful bellies growing. Make sure you keep in touch once your baby arrives. I love hearing that happy news. Thank you again for practicing with me. The light in me honors the light in you.